Hey everybody, welcome. Just turning off my sound on the video so I can go ahead and pay attention to everybody that's here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Chewing the Fat with Rollin Picker. I see that looks like is Lisa right? Flipping crazy. Looks like she was first. Then we've got Lynn B, Tracy Sykes, Jada Gypsy's here, Jennifer Layton. Welcome, guys. Let me go down a little further. Yep. And going on Grumpy, Barb's here. Treasured Vintage, Angie, welcome. CC Collections, welcome. How you doing? Anita, good to see you. So Get This is here. That's my Angie. Give it a few more minutes before I go into this subject matter of, if you guys haven't noticed the title. Hey, Hedwig, glad you're here. It's something that's pretty close to my heart, and being on its Easter, you know, we had Good Friday for many of us on this last Friday, or it was Passover. And then tomorrow's Easter Day, which is a very important day. And so it had me thinking about this, about myself and the subject that I wanted to talk about. Oh, hey, Jennifer Hayes. Jennifer just popped in. The title of the video was, Do You Walk the Walk and Talk the Talk? Now, this is not meant as a thing about anybody else but me. It's a reflection on myself and what I've experienced. And it's important to me because being Easter, I was reminded of someone who gave who did talk the talk and walk the walk. A man that was free of pure sin, no sin, had no sin. He talked it, he walked it, and he gave the ultimate sacrifice. He gave his life for me. That's Jesus. So he shed his blood for me. So that's the example that I'm using as far as when I said, do you walk the walk and talk the talk? For many years, I didn't do that. I mean, I did in the beginning. I mean, let's face it, back in the day, not in today's times with business the way it is and how the government's dealing with things and all, but back in the day when I was younger, I was taught that your handshake is just as valuable as signing your name on a contract. And when you shake your hand, you got to walk that walk and talk that talk. So for me, I grew up that way. And I was that way for a lot of years. And then later on, you know, certain events and things happen in my life. And prior to 2005, I would have to say, you know, it wasn't so much like that. It was more about dog eat dog, cutting heads in business, numero uno first. That's, you know, was me. And that's the way it was for a long time. And as the years have passed now, and I've gained a little bit of age, you should say, it's got me thinking, you know, do I really walk the walk and talk the talk? And what I mean by that is there's so much going on in this world nowadays. There's so much hurt. There's so much anger. There's so much sickness. There's so much of a lot of stuff that's bad. And you may know somebody that's going through a hard time, or you may have a family member, you know, that's having it rough, whether it's an illness or finances or business or just life in general. You know, they're having a hard time dealing with, you know, the situations today and what's going on in the world. And what I mean about walking the walk or talking the talk is if I reach out to someone, and this is what I mean about when do you talk the talk about the walk. When you reach out to someone that you feel is hurting or is in pain or needs some help or is struggling, you're putting yourself out there. And that is, to me, is just like the handshake. And I want to be more like that type of person. And I'm hoping that maybe, I'm not saying that anybody here doesn't do that, but a little bit of self-reflection doesn't hurt every now and then. And I've done a lot of reflecting. So for me, the talk is when you reach out to someone, or if someone reaches out to you for help, or to, I need an ear, or I need a shoulder. When you accept that communication, um, that's the handshake, as far as I'm concerned. It's like signing your name on a contract. And when you tell somebody, if you tell somebody, I'm going to pray for you, you need to be praying for them. You know, it's there's too much lip service in the world with the politicians, whether it's federal or down at the local level, or it could be the car dealership guy. There's too much lip service going on around every day. And so I want to be held accountable, and who holds me accountable is Jesus, because he did talk to talk, like I said, and walk to walk earlier. And because of him, I want to reflect him. I mean, he gave us several commandments that were very important. I know of two that he said: that love God with all your heart and all your soul, and to love one another as yourself. I know there were 10 commandments, but the two that he gave, I believe, were those two. I know in there's also honor your mother and father, but if you think about it, if you love God with all your heart and all your soul, then you're going to treat your neighbor like you want to, like you love your neighbor like you love yourself, or you honor your mother and father. I mean, if you follow the first one, you can't really fail at the other two, or can you? I think we can fail at them because we're flesh, we're human, we're imperfect, but we have an example to follow, and I have that example to follow, and that's where I'm getting at today. Um, I don't think there's, I think there's a lot of kindness that's out here. I think there's a lot of people that say, hey, you know, you need some help, or you need this, you need that. You know, they follow through. Um, I don't know how many don't. I don't know. I mean, I only go by what my gut tells me, by what I feel. But I want to be that example that Jesus wants, you know. So if I tell somebody, hey, you need something, if you need something, if you ever need anything, let me know. If I can help you out, let me know. You know, don't ever be afraid to ask. If I tell you I love you, if I tell you that I'm praying for you, you can bet your last dollar on it, Dad, I'm doing those things. And that's what I want. That's my prayer for all of, for the whole world. Now, will it happen? It's probably not going to happen, because there's too much anger and bitterness out there. I mean, gosh, you see it in the news. You see it when you read the news or you watch the news. I mean, I got this. The worst thing I ever did probably was get this Google YouTube TV, because now I can watch the news, the local news. And man, there's just a lot of people getting hurt, a lot of people hurting people, a lot of governments hurting people, a lot of people from all over the world hurting people. And man, guys, I'm going to try to start something by encouraging people. When you say I'm going to, you need some help, or you tell somebody you love them, I challenge you to really dig down deep and see if you really mean that, and if you're going to follow through with that. Because I think if it starts with one person, and then it's kind of like to pay it forward. It's kind of like how people say karma. You know, if you do something bad, something bad's going to happen to you. You know, I think I think there's truth to that. I mean, I think there is truth to that, and I think it has all something to do with your spirit. You know, because we're all interconnected. Believe it or not, we're all interconnected. Subconsciously, we're all interconnected. My spirit talks to. Let me look at the chat here. My spirit talks to Lynn B's spirit, and myself, or subconscious, talks to Lynn B's, or Tanya's, or Deb's, or Dwayne's, or Angie's, or my Angie, or Tracy, or Hedwig, or Lisa that's in here, or Jennifer, Dia. It talks to. It's all interconnected. That's how this works. So I think if I could start something, not a movement. I mean, I did like what was started with the Free to Be Me hashtag, collaboration, and the Speak Up and Speak Out. And I guess you could actually say this is like a hashtag free to be me, and or a hashtag speak up and speak out, because I'm speaking up and speaking out about something that means a lot to me. And but like I said, the reason it means a lot to me, if you think about it, guys, it's so easy to say I'm there for you. It's so easy to say I love you. But then when you think about Jesus, what he did, and the beatings he took, the ridicule he took after he walked a perfect life, I mean, that's why he had to be born of a virgin, because sin is in the blood, and he had to have pure blood, because for him to die at the cross and shed his blood made him the perfect sacrifice for to forgive me of my sins, instead of them doing like a sheep or a lamb or whatever, or us having to die to reconcile for our own sin. So to me, he's the ultimate talk the talk and walk the walk. Now, I don't, there's no way I'm going to die for anybody, or shed my blood for anybody, because I'm not him. I'm me. I'm Mike. But what I can do is be there for people when they need it. Be a kinder Mike, a more loving Mike. And and that's a one-way. I can see where that's the unconditional love, and that's the one-way road, because I don't expect anything in return. And I think that's what unconditional love is when you don't expect anything in return for the loving or kindness that you give out. I don't know. I'd like to see what your guys' thoughts are in the chat about that. But it's always like, I don't know, man. I mean, I've been seeing it on YouTube lately. There's some more, there's more stink going on, and it's not so much in the reseller community. It's just all over the place. And I think what that is it's because we've got people in other places, like higher up, you know what I'm saying, that just spread the hate. And the hate is so much easier to follow, because it's tougher to love the person that hates you. And it's tougher to be there for the person that doesn't like you or hates you or has a problem with you than it is to be with someone to help somebody that loves you, right? I mean, isn't that the true test? I mean, didn't Jesus tell the people that if the soldier tells you to carry his pack for a mile, which by law back then, a Roman soldier could grab any one of the Jewish people and tell them, hey, you need to carry my pack or carry my gear or whatever. And all they were obligated was a mile, but he told them, walk 2 miles. Give him 2 miles. I think that's the example. More so at our level, because like I said, I'm not going to ever be able to attain the level of that Christ is, but because of what he's done, and I have him in me, then in a way I kind of am, but I know I'm not. I think that's a good example. It's it's easier to be the nasty, curmudgeon, always pissed off, always angry, always hateful, always just not happy unless everybody else is unhappy, than it is to be the person that loves that person. It's harder. And I think that's why it says in the Bible that I'm paraphrasing, the path to hell is a wide road and the road to heaven is narrow. I mean, why is they say stairway to heaven and highway to hell? It's easier to go one way than it is the other. Treasure Vintage says, especially being here on the internet, we're removed from the physical presence of all the friends we say we love. If they were close by, would we be there for them in tangible ways? That's a good question, Angie. And I think that's, like I said, that's the one that we've got to ask ourselves. That's the do you talk the talk and walk the walk. I mean, when it comes down to brass tacks, in a pinch, you're right, in the tangible ways. I mean, my dad always told me, don't buy anything unless you're willing to give it away. My mom and dad were, they gave a lot to charity. They gave a lot to the church, and they gave a lot to charities. And it was very important to them because of the time that they grew up during the Depression, and my dad was born in 26, and my mom was born in 32, and they grew up during that time, and it meant a lot to them to not just give to the church, but to give to other people. And my dad always told me, he said, "Son, if you're not willing to give that away, don't buy it." And I think that's good advice. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying don't buy your house if you're not willing to give it away. I mean, there would be certain things I would think you wouldn't give away. You wouldn't give your shelter away, or you wouldn't. I mean, if I had an extra car, I mean, I'd probably, well, I mean, I don't drive now, but I'm sure, if I had an extra car, I would have given it away. I mean, I've given a lot of stuff away. And I'm not saying that makes me a better person. I'm just saying that's the way I was raised. Yeah, Angie, there are tithes and there are offerings, and a lot of people get those mixed up. The tithes, the 10% of the tithe to the church, that's to run the church. That's the maintenance of the church. That's to pay the guy that cuts the lawn, the janitor that vacuums and wipes down the pews and cleans the windows, and the secretary that answers the phone for the pastor. That's what tithes are, and the offerings are for the others, for the other goodies, for the other things, or like alms, as well as alms, like giving. And then you have your first what is it called? First offering, or first. It's like, say, when you get a pay raise in January. Say January you get a pay raise. The first tithe goes for that would go. You would take what you would get. Like, say if I got say I was working and I got a $50 raise a week. Okay. So that would be a $200 raise for the month. If I got it in January, I would put $200 in the offering, or in an envelope, and I would hand that to the pastor. That's for him. First fruits. That's what it's called, first fruits. I would give that to him. And then after that, the other 11 months of my pay raise is mine. I think a lot of people get, it was first fruits. I think it's first fruits. Because when they harvested their crops back in that day, they took their the first fruits. Those were given, and then there was 10% that was given. No reason to be sorry, dear. So, I mean, it all ties together. I mean, this isn't like, I'm not preaching to people. I'm not gonna, thump anybody over the head with a Bible. That's the last thing I would do, because I know I don't want it to be done to me. But there's a correlation, like I said, between the talk the talk and walk the walk. And I would just hope that we can start something here, Now, I don't need a hashtag, talk the talk, walk the walk. It just, be kind, be loving. When someone that you don't like is in a bad spot, don't be afraid to reach out to them. Whether they think there's an ulterior motive or not, that's not for you to decide. That's like, I tell people, I always give to the people on the side of the street. Not for recognition, but they'll go, like, I've had that with my brother happen to me. I think I told you guys a story, or somebody was with me in the truck one day. I gave to a guy, gave him a $20 bill, and they were like, "Why'd you do that? He's just going to go buy booze." Well, that's not for me to decide. That's for God to decide to put it on his heart to go and buy himself a cheeseburger and a soda and save some of it so he can have breakfast in the morning, or maybe buy some toiletries so he can brush his teeth and a little deodorant or whatever. That's not from, I can't put stipulation on what I do. Like, if I tell any one of you here, you guys, if you need a hand, let me know, or you need something, let me know. And you come to me, of course, if it's within my means, I will do it. And that should be with anybody. And then when I do it, there never will be any stipulation. There should never be stipulation on, well, I give you this, you got to do that. I mean, it should never be that way. And I think that's where we've got the direction we got to go in. Kind of like, instead of walking that 1 mile with the pack, walk 2. Maybe, I don't know, hashtag 2 mile, or I don't know. It's just something that I've been thinking about. It's been weighing on me. And as the Easters have been going, and the more that I've been thinking about it during Easter, and the things that I read, It just makes me think. I mean, God gave He gave His Son the greatest sacrifice of all to us. I should be able to sacrifice a few dollars or a box of something or a jacket or a pair of pants or a shirt or some toiletries or a shoulder to lean on, an ear to listen to. Sometimes that's all anybody ever wants is just to be heard. They don't want nothing else. They just want to know that there's somebody out there that really cares about them and understands what's going on. Yeah, nature's beauty. There's the tithe, first fruits, offerings, and alms. Alms is like what you give to, like when you give to the needy out in the street, like you hand them say a gift card to McDonald's. That's an alms. Offering is, well, actually, I think there's seeds. It's called a seed. Offerings could be the seeds. Like you plant a seed. Like say there's the church is. Your church you go to is doing something, or they got somebody in the mission field and they're needing a generator, or they're needing this, or they need more of that. You take it, you give a seed to that. And that's where the seed is, where it can come back to you 30, 60, 90, or 100-fold. When you because that's exactly what it means, planting a seed. When you plant a seed, you're expecting a return. And out of the tithe, the first fruit offerings, or the alms, the seed is the only one that you can literally tell God, now I'm expecting a return on this, because it's a seed. It's like planting a seed. And let me see. Angie says here, and you cannot outgive God. That's true. He multiplies it back in spiritual blessings in many other ways. Hey, look, guys, I told you I asked God for a chair and I got it. Now I ain't got any yet because I think we're having some issues now with the charging system. I think the battery's dropped the cell, so I might have to get some battery, but we got the tire on it. It's all together. It's cleaned up. It's ready to go. But I got that. And in return, with the other chair, now I'm to take that chair because God gave to me. Through the pastor, God gave to me. Now I give to that pastor to give to someone else, or he tells me give it to someone who needs it. And that's how I do it. Now that's me answering somebody else's prayer. So get this. Angie said that's why Lily loves giving her gift cards and blessing bags. And every time she does, she gets goosebumps. That's right. She also gives the clothes that don't fit her to a neighborhood girl that needs them. The thing that my granddaughter does when she comes home and tells me, I gave a bag and a food card out to a homeless guy and I felt all jiggly and wiggly inside. I tell her, man, that's the Holy Spirit. And that's a good point. Because I tell her, you never know. You could be entertaining an angel. And that's in the Bible. And God does put his angels down here to test us, to see how we will react. So, you never know the person that you come across or the person you meet on YouTube. Hey, you never know if they're an angel. I mean, I don't know that. They could be if they could. God can put them out. Listen, if God can put them out on the street, I certainly believe he could give them a YouTube channel. I mean, come on, think about it. I mean, I've always, God can do anything, and he will do anything for his purpose. Tracy Sykes, who's your Nana, says, when people start attaching strings to their gifts, that's when their hold on that string is human, not godlike. And that's right. And the other thing, that's a good point. And there's another part to that too. If, like I tell Lily, when you do something for someone, don't tell anybody that you've done it, because you want that reward that's in heaven. If you tell somebody you've done it, then you've already received your reward. And I know that's in the Bible. What chapter and verse, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm still a student of the book. But so I tell her, though, but when you tell me that you got all jiggly inside, don't worry about it. Your gift's still in heaven. I'm just explaining to her what the jiggly wiggly feeling is inside. But that's a very good point, Tracy. When you hold on to it, then it becomes more you, more human and not godlike. That's right. Angie, Treasure Minute says, how many times has someone not given or said to this beggar or addict, you're going to buy booze, but you gave, and that in itself could soften the heart by the Holy Spirit. salvation. Exactly. I mean, it's not for us to say or to do. I mean, if I gave money to a drug addict or that was living out on the street or who said, I'm hungry, I need something to eat. And you can tell in their eyes that, they're doing the meth or the crack cocaine or the alcoholic. You can tell because you can smell it on them. I mean, in my heart, I know, oh my God, I know what you're going to do with this. But you know what? Lord put it on his heart to go buy a meal and not drugs. Um, Bargain shop. Carol said, that's why I used to think you treat people like you would God, but honestly, I am second guessing that now. I don't know. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by second guessing about how you're treating people? Carol, that's an interesting comment. Um, I mean, if I second guessed, I used to in the past, I used to second guess that I do the right thing. Now I just don't worry about it. I just tell the Lord, hey, look, I'm giving this to this person, or I reached out to this person to help them. Lord, now I need you to do the rest because I can't do it. I can't do it all. I can be there. I can help. I can listen. I can give the shoulder to lean on. I've done a lot of other things to help, but now I need you to do the heavy lifting. Hey, Nana's treasure. Hey, Peggy, I'm glad you could make it. And Autumn Grace got deleted. So thank you, Dwayne. You're awful fast. If they keep it up, time them out, please. I am unhappy with God. I've helped everyone, and I lost Brian. Man, you know what, Carol? That's a tough one. And I would never, ever, 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 ever try to explain to you to make you feel different. That's just not my place. I can't do that. But I can tell you for a fact that God does use things for his purpose. And with my illness, that was used not just to bring me closer to him, but it brought my family closer together. We were far apart. I didn't talk to my son. I hardly talked to my brother. Hardly talked to my nieces and nephews. I segregated myself from everyone. And when I got that scare and I got closer with God, I realized that through me, people were seeing the change, and it brought us closer. And it brought us closer as a family, and it brought everybody closer to him. And what? Let me tell you what, Carol. You have every right in the world to be angry at him and upset. You do. But he don't hate you for that. He didn't stop loving you for that. That I can tell you for certain. That's the only thing I'll tell you. You have every right to be pissed off at him. I was pissed off at him. Hell, I gave him the finger and I cussed him out. I almost got to the point of vexing the Holy Spirit. I was right there at the border. And that would have been the end of it for me. And, you have every right to be angry. Just know that he still loves you, no matter how angry you are at him and how mad you get. And that's for anybody, man. Nature's beauty. But isn't that down them to use it the right way? You help by giving. It's down to them to change by choice. Yeah, it's down to them to change by choice. That's exactly right, nature. But here's the deal. It's getting to that point where you talk the talk, walk the walk, right? Where you say, okay, I'm give. Whatever it is, like I said, it can be monetary, it could be a shirt, clothes, it could be a meal, it could be help with changing a flat tire. I mean, something so simple, right? And it's not up to me to push them into changing. All I can do is say, okay, Lord, I'm doing this because this is what you command me to do. And I'm doing it from love because you tell me I need to love that person. And let me make sure I make this clear to everybody. God tells you to love one another. He doesn't tell you got to like each other. Okay? I mean, I love a lot of people, but I don't like them. I mean, that's not like contradictive because there's nowhere in the Bible where he says you have to like, but he does command you to love. So I guess to answer that, nature's beauty would be to give without the stipulation and give out of pure love. And then you turn that over to God and say, Lord, you got to do the heavy lifting, because I'm not going to change his heart, or I'm not going to change her heart, or I'm not going to change the way they think, or what they're going on in their head. That's up to you. That ain't up to, I can't do that, because that's the heavy lifting. That's up to him. All I need to do, all I have to do is, like, that's to open the door, or that's like to let them see a little bit of light, and then that makes it easier. It's kind of like, I was having some issues with my son. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was having some issues with my son, and I was in a gym lifting with my chiropractor. This was before I got real bad. I could still go to the gym. I could still lift iron. And I was trying to stay in shape, and go through the chiropractor. And I was telling my chiropractor, who's a Christian, I just think I'm losing my son, man. I mean, you don't want to hear nothing about God. You don't want to hear this. You don't want to hear this God stuff. I mean, it used to really anger him. And there was an old man there that was lifting, and he said, I didn't mean to overhear, but he said, I'm Pastor so-and-so from so-and-so church. He said, all the years that you've tried to talk to him, he says, you've planted and you've watered, try to water it. He says, now it's up to God to shine the light on it. And that's what I did. Just turned it over to him. And my son and I got a great relationship now. I mean, do I talk to him as much as I'd like to? No. But he's busy, man. He's got he's married. He's got a family. He's a busy guy, I mean, he works hard. That's the tough part, is you do this. When you're there for somebody, or you reach out to somebody, like I said, that's like the handshake. My handshake is as good as my word, which is as good as me signing my name on a contract. But that's the talk part, and the walk is continually in doing that, or being there, but that it's setting up for God to shine the light. And you know what, I saw a comment up here. Maggie Doodle said, that's so hard, Carol. It's so hard to have faith under your circumstances. And I agree. And like I say, Carol, I would never, ever, ever try to change your mind. That's between you and God. But if you ever need anything, or you ever need an ear or a shoulder, trust me, it's there. It's always there for you. You're a good person. You got a good spirit. And that's the same for anybody. Who? Unblock who? I think I'd have to do that. Oh, wait. Hold on. I don't know. Can I unblock her? Oh, she's unblocked. Okay. That's right, Angie. He won't turn away from you, Carol. And that's the truth. Like I said, I was pretty violent to him, and he didn't turn his back on me. He still loved me. That's the kind of father I wanted to be. And it's a hard road for me. I'm a human. I faltered a lot. I had a lot of problems, a lot of issues. So that's why I said this is dear to me, the do you talk the talk and walk the walk. Let me see here. Oh, I remember. I forgot the name already. I should have wrote it down. For you two and V Jewelry too. I remember. Oh, I got to remember your name. She says, I believe that we all have a mission here, and the Lord calls us when we fulfilled our mission. True. I mean, I think that's very true. I think he calls you when it's done. It's time to give you rest, I mean, I want to hear those words, well done, faithful servant. Well done. Let me see. Is there anybody else here? Kim Weber, I do give people money on the street. They will do what they need for themselves. I figured that's Their choice. You're right. It's their choice. You don't put no strings on it, no stipulation. Sooner or later, the guy that's doing the drugs or the gal or the guy or gal that's doing the alcohol, pretty soon something's gonna touch their heart. Like I said, God does the heavy lifting. Something's gonna touch their heart, and the next time somebody gives them a 10 or a 20, they're gonna walk into a 7-Eleven or a Stop and Go and buy one of them weenies one of them hot dogs off the rollers up there and get them a big gulp and a bag of chips. Now they're gonna eat, or they're going to have try to save on to some money. And when it happens, they're going to get them a room in a hotel where they can, get a shower and sleep inside where it's nice and warm. It's going to happen. Autumn Grace, when I lost my 3 brothers, one in 2006, one in 2007, one in 2008, back to back, I was so upset, and still today at times, I question. So very sorry. Miss Carol. Yeah, it's always tough, especially when you lose someone. Like I can never answer the question, why are babies born with cancer or kids get cancer? I can't answer that question. And when somebody says to me, well, if God's a loving God, well, I don't know what God's reason is, but I can tell you what, God didn't hurt that child. God doesn't make people sick. But when we do get sick, he uses whatever's around for his purpose. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I would never assume to be able to answer any of the questions. Maggie Doodle says, that's always a dilemma for me, Kim Webster. When I was working in Center City, there was a lot of homeless, and we were advised not to give money. It was so hard to just walk by. It is, Mama Chelly tells me she has them. They sit in front of the grocery store, and they'll have their kid and the wife, and they'll be sitting there. And what she does is she doesn't give them money. She, as long as she doesn't have anything that's frozen, if she has stuff that's frozen, she'll go home. She'll put it away, and then she'll come back. And if they're still sitting there, she'll say, "Are you guys hungry? Yeah. Let's go in. I'll buy you some groceries." If they say, no, we don't need any groceries, then she just walks away. Because then in her heart's told her they're just there panhandling. Now, is that right? I don't know. I would think if somebody was really in need, they would take the food. If they're holding a sign, especially that says, we'll work for food or need food, and you've got your kid out there with you and a sickly looking puppy, I would think that, you'd be willing to take the groceries. Hey, website mistress, everybody, that's Ellen. That's my business associate, my partner. Glad you could make it, Ellen. Yeah, you're right. We love Carol. I love everybody. Angie says, look what he did for us. Yet while we were still sinners, he gave his only son. He is always for us, never against us. That's right. Exactly. And Mr. White Tuber says, David prayed, fasted nonstop until his son died. Then he went to the temple to worship. He didn't question God's faith. It isn't contingent on outcome. I mean, we all know why his... well, you know what? The thing was, in there's a verse too, isn't there, that he says, why should he mourn something about his son's death when he will see him soon? So, he knew what was going on. Hedwig, my grandmother died. My mom's had it tough. My grandmother died, and then shortly after, a year after that, I think it was my dad went next. And then after that, her dog. It was pretty tough, but my mom's never given up her faith. She's never swayed in her faith. She's always been a strong woman. Hey, Herman the Great. I'm doing fine. How about you, my friend? And you're welcome. Angie says, yes, Mr. White Tuber. That about David always amazed me too. How he seems he only grieved for that time when the baby was ill, and then when he died, worshipped. I'm sure he did grieve more though. He probably did. He probably did, Angie. But you know what? Wasn't David a man that was after God's own heart? I mean, God loved David so much, despite the sin that he committed of adultery. I mean, he still loved him. And then look when he took his first son, or that son, look at the one he got after that, Solomon, who became the greatest king that ever lived, the most knowledgeable, the most wealthiest. There's never been anybody that is compared to that. So God always equals things out. Oh, so okay, so Hedwig, I will never give up my faith. I begged God to take them. Cancer can be very, very painful. My mom had to pull the plug. Doctors gave her a choice. There was no point in keeping him doped up on morphine. And that was a tough decision, but she trusted God. And I got it. Mama Chelly's a strong woman, and her faith, she relies on it every day, and it shows through the family because it spreads. God, regarding David, was looking for direction, not perfection. Exactly. And that's right, Mr. White Tuber. We can't understand why sometimes we're not supposed to. And that brings me back to the talking the talk and walking the walk. Like I said, there's a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of people in the world. There's a lot of people we know that are hurting, that are having issues, whether it's, I mean, it's kind of like thinking before you speak because of the last word you have. You may never have a chance to take that back. I mean, you don't know the person you've got a job and they may have just lost their job. Or you've got your husband or wife and they just lost their husband and wife. Or, you've got your home and they just lost their home. You never know. You never know what they're going through. And that, I think, is where we just need to just come together and just kind of spread it. I think if it starts out small, and as the karma thing, like I say, does work, I mean, that's part of God, the karma thing, I think it'll just spread, man, and things will change. I mean, it needs to. I mean, look at what's going on in the world, man. The churches are burning, and I'm not just talking about Notre Dame. I'm talking about a lot of churches have been burning in France and in Europe. We've got guys starting fires here in the U.S. for whatever silly reasons. It's crazy. It's craziness. And I ain't going to be pointing fingers at anybody, but it's just craziness, And I think if those of us with the like mind or the like spirit inside or the same like feeling come together and form that and work that, I think that can spread like wildfire, and it can take over. Hedwig, you're right. God always takes care of us. Hey, Kathleen, how you doing? Peace 3601. Hey, Stephen, Judgment Care USA. Great topic. I'm just getting ready. Oh, but listen, that's right. Oh, thanks for mentioning that. I don't want to go too long. I do want to say, and I'm going to put it up in here, the MSP auction tonight, okay, is Barb going on Grumpy and Immortal Hourglass Dia. I've seen the stuff. It's goodies. I just put Dwayne's MSP auction channel in there, his channel in there. You guys make sure you, hey, Dave, Sports Quest, that's my nephew, David. He's a good guy, man, good father, good son-in-law, good nephew, great all-around guy. I love him, man. I love them all. He's married to my niece, Stephanie. And but let me get back to the auction real quick, and I'll get back to you, Dave. Make sure you guys go over there and support Barb and Dia. They got all the good stuff, but mainly supporting Dwayne and Heather for the hard work that they do. They love this community. They love the new people that come in. The only requirement is make sure you send Dwayne your information. So if you want to bid, you can bid. You don't have some fun. Now about David. Yeah, David is my brother's son-in-law. He's married to my niece Stephanie, who owns a catering business. I think David still works. Do you still work at the post office, bro? I think he works at the post office. He does all around. Make sure he gets the kids. I got my great nephew, Dominic. I call him Dom, and then Emma, my great niece. Those are his two kids. They're just smart kids, man. They're awesome. Good guys, good family. David's a good guy. He doesn't do much on the video thing, but he's a good guy, and so I'm glad he's here. My cozy nest, Rebecca says, I'm laying here sick just listening, but I had to lift my head off the pillow. Why does Jesus, who was perfect, always get the blame? You will never hear I am upset with what Satan did to me. You know what? That's a good question, because I use what happened to me, Rebecca, as like, okay, Satan can't create, so Satan has to rely on what's around on here, right? Because let's all face it, he's the god of earth. He's the little god, and he's the king of earth, and he runs what goes on in earth. And that's why you see all the sickness and the death and the fighting and the wars. That's his shtick. He needs that in order to show that he's stronger than God. But it's not going to happen. I mean, I read the book. I know the ending. We win, he loses. But the point is, to answer Rebecca, I know when I yelled at God and gave him the finger and cussed him out, that was me. That was my pity party. Then I realized, wait a minute. Sometimes I said to myself, I know sometimes God does use things, and Mama Chella was telling me that, God uses things for a reason. There must be a reason. And it was that I had been strayed. I had strayed. And he knew that this was going to happen, because let's face it, guys, he knows every aspect of our life. He knew us he knew us when we were in the womb. He knew us before we even were born. He knew what was going to happen to us, where we were going to be in life, and what was going to go on. And you got to admit, God's a good father, man. It's free will. Whether you take it or not, that he gives you free will to either accept him and his son and to follow him and live for him, or not. I mean, it's plain and simple. And if not, then guess what? You're on the other end of it. But to get back to what Rebecca had said, sometimes you can hear God. You can hear him through your heart. Sometimes you can hear an audible voice. Sometimes. But the one thing you don't want is for him to poke you. And I pictured myself standing there in front of him like I wasn't listening to him. And I turned around and he went, "You. I'm talking to you." And he poked me. Some of us get poked harder than others. Some of us don't. Some of us just need to stub our toe and things change. And I'm saying that metaphorically speaking. Stub our toe. Okay? And whether we're sick or we've lost a house or we're going in foreclosure or we're lost a job or they're cutting people at work, am I going to lose my job or whatever? That's the time when you got to put your faith. And because like I tell you, he talks the talk and walks the walk. God does. So, and Christ Jesus does. So if those two can do, and the Holy Spirit, so if those three can do it, I certainly can do it. And, and that was just kind of like to go on that point of Rebecca's, because I know that she's, like she says, I'm upset with what Satan did to me. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I mean, I guess I could be upset at Satan for what he did to me. But then again, if Satan hadn't done it to me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be closer to God. I wouldn't be content I wouldn't be to the point where I could say if I died tomorrow, I know where I'm going. I wouldn't be able to do all that if it hadn't been for that. I just guess I needed a bigger poke than most people. Like I say, Um, Dave Squisser, right back at you, Uncle Mike. I'm so glad the community is here for you. They're all great people. Yeah, I know Dave comes in every now and then. I know he lurks because he likes to see what's going on. Yeah, they're great people in here, David. Great people, man. They're good people in here. Um, Barb says, I lost great friends to terrorists. I will never understand why they were the one to be there at that time, but I can't control any of it. That's true. You can't. But man, I just don't have an answer for that. I don't want to get into, I mean, terrorists. I don't have an answer for that. I mean, why does anybody do what they do? Why? I don't know. I'll be praying. You know what? I'll be praying for you, Rebecca, to get better. And you know what, Barb? I'm going to pray for you to see if God can give you understanding. Yahweh, Abba. I'll call him Daddy. I'll call him Pop sometimes, because that's what he is if you think about it. Barbara, that's right, Barb. What if this? What if that? It's not our call. That's right. What if I hadn't run down that aisleway full bore? And what if the guy that was working to follow the rules and taking the shrink wrap and either wrapped it around into a ball on the other side or cut it and thrown it in the basket? What if he'd have done that instead of leaving it out? What if, okay, I could say, well, it's his fault, but then I could say, well, wait a minute, I was running. So what if I wasn't running? What if, I mean, there's a lot of what ifs. Something else probably would have happened that would have triggered what's going on. And that's what I feel. Sad to be on the other end of it. I feel a burden for those at that end. Yeah, that's true. Angie says God's plan is worked into everything that happens to us. That's true. Very true. Kathleen, let me tell you something. If you want to know the truth, when it comes, you said, I appreciate you saying that. I love hearing you talk about God. I'm not brave enough to do that. Let me tell you something. I'm looking in front of this screen, and I'm telling you all right now, I was the biggest chicken in the world. Talk about God. I would have never mentioned about Jesus. I would have never told any, and this me being a Christian, I would have never tried to tell anybody, share my story or my testimony. I mean, I'm not here to convert people. It's up to God to convert them. But I think what happened to me is to be my testimony. But I was the biggest chicken in the world until one day I did what they say, to meditate on the word. And that verse stuck in my head about Christ saying that if you deny me, if I deny Christ, like in front of you guys, then he'll deny me. He'll deny me and knowing me in front of the Father. And I can't take that chance. And that stuck with me. And now I'm not worried about it. You're either going to love me or hate me. You're either going to love my politics or love my faith. I don't say religion because that's man-made. Or you're either going to love my relationship that I have with my Father. Papa, up there. I mean, let's face it. Pop there gave me a good pop down here. I had a great dad down here on earth. And taught me and my brother a lot of stuff. I had a great mom too. I got a great mom too. That's down here. And thank God, I thank him every day that he keeps her well. And I keep asking him to put that hedge of protection around her and the house, around all my family members and my friends and my business associates and my business partners, people I've done business with. I always ask God every night to put a hedge of protection around everybody. And I'm thankful for that, that he's doing that. But I can't take that. I don't know. We got, whoa, wait a minute. What? Chat's moving. So, well, anyway, about the Pop, I mean, that's what he is. He's dad. I just say, hey, Pop, I need this, or I need that, or I got a friend that's hurting, man. I told him I'd pray for him. And that's why it's important when somebody asks you to pray that you get their name. Not so much their last name, because God knows who they are, but it's always nice to have a name so you can associate the name with the prayer, so he knows. And don't worry, whatever. And as far as talking about God or about my relation, like I was trying to say, Kathleen, and just don't worry about it. Like I said, people are gonna love me. They're gonna hate me. They're not. They're either gonna not dig my spirituality. I mean, look, I got a friend on Facebook. I'm a conservative. I'm a Christian. I'm white. I'm a Christian. I'm conservative. I believe in having guns. I believe in less government. All right, let's get that out there. And I got a friend on Facebook that I went to high school with who was a Christian, who's an atheist, and the biggest leftist in the world. And every other chance she can get, she says derogatory and nasty things about Trump that aren't true. Did I block her and unfriend her? No. Because she has that right to speak that, just like I have that right to speak whatever it is. But I want to speak whether it's about how Christ talked the talk and walked the walk. He asked God, Father, take this cup from me. If it's your will, not my will. And it was God's will that he die on the cross. So, and he was man just as much as he was God. I mean, he was deity. He was both. But, he shed his blood for me. The least I can do is let people know that he's done that for me and what he's done for me to this date, with the condition that I'm in. Because 2005, 13 years or so ago, I mean, in my head, I was looking at 2 years. And look at how long it's been now, since like 2005 when I fell. Look how long it's been. And now look, I'm going to Baylor. So, man, and they're going to confirm what the other doctor thinks. And like I said, 2 injections a year, or maybe just once, and it slows down what I've got. You can't tell me that ain't God. Nobody can tell me that's not God. Nobody. And that's another chapter in my life for me to share that with that testimony. And that's all it takes, Kathleen. Just don't worry about it. You're going to people, look, guys, we're going to have haters out here, and we're going to have people that love us. And like I said earlier, it's the hardest road is to love the ones that hate you. That's the hardest road. It's really easy for me to love all you guys that love me. What about the ones that hate me? Or vice versa, the same for you guys. Because I know everybody's got those that love them and that hate them. You can either take the easy road and just love the ones that love you and not worry about the ones that hate you, or love them all. Treat them all the same. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, God's plan is worked into everything that happens to us. You got the worst case of the flu, Rebecca? Oh, my God. I'll be praying for you tonight, sister. I definitely will be praying for you tonight. I will keep you in my prayers to get through this. Angie, I love to talk about God. I want him to be my everything. I still have so far to go. Man, we all have far to go. I got a lot of ways to go. You know what? Tracy makes a good point there. She said, she's saying to you, Kathleen, let God give you the courage. You know what? Not just the courage, but you know what I tell the Lord? Like I told him before the video today, before this live, and I'm not going to keep you guys much longer because I want everybody to get something to eat, and make sure you get over to that auction, to Dwayne's auction, to support Dwayne and Heather and Barb and Dia. I just told him, I say, hey, look, Pop, I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how well it's going to be received. I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing. Put the words in my mouth. Just put the words in my mouth that you want me to say. Because what I'm saying, I mean, obviously, I don't have a script. People that know me, when I do a show or I call an auction or I do a video, I mean, anybody that's been in the Hangout, they know, man, I fly by the seat of my pants. I don't have a script. I don't follow. We'll talk about this, talk about that, talk about this. I don't do that, man. So it's got to come from somewhere. I mean, I'm not that intelligent. So I know it comes from God. And Kathleen, that's all you got to do is just say, hey, Lord, Tracy, was right. saying to let God give you the courage. Trisha's right saying that, but also ask him to put the words in your mouth. You know, the worst thing that can happen to you, Kathleen, like the worst thing that's happened to me, either they can turn off or give me a thumbs down or dislike here in this video, or the other worst thing that can happen is if I do it in public, they call me a name and they walk away. Actually, I used to tell people, even if you killed me, that's not the worst thing that you can do to me because I know where I'm going. Think about it. I mean, I gave my life to Christ and I rededicated and I trust God with the direction he's taking me in and what he wants me to talk about and what he wants me to do and how he wants me to conduct my life or how he wants me to help my family or my friends. That's all on him. I'm just the instrument down here, you know, like the pointer on the mouse. That's all I am. I do whatever it is he tells me to do. Maury, that's right. I'm sorry about that. I should have known. I had it wrote down, but I couldn't find I used notes on or text document. I got them all over the place. And I should have wrote it down. Maury, I'm so sorry. It says, I'm blessed that I was waiting for you to come on. I needed this talk. Maybe now I can do the walk. Thanks so much, Mike. Well, God bless you. No, thank you for being here. You know, and Vicky, you're right. God is good. I just tell God, you know what, Lord, I can't be like these preachers that you see on TV. Oh, I get 1,000 souls a day. I can't do that. I'm gonna tell him, Lord, all I can do is one at a time. You know, and if I get one for you that gets the message that you want me to say, or one comes to you and asks for some help, and you show them your grace and you help them, then I've done my job. I'm not keeping score. I don't know if I'm pretty sure he is, but I'm not keeping score. It's not like feather in my cap or any of that. I made a commitment to him. I made a covenant with him when he gave me my life back, and he gave me the chance to be at my great granddaughter's wedding. I mean, I'm still holding him to that. But he gave me that chance, so that proves to me that he's got something for me. That he got more for me to do, and I'll be glad to do it with no problem. Dia says, I was so mad at God once when I found out my mom has lung cancer and my husband's health was getting bad. But I came to realize I was blessed beyond belief to have them with me right now. Exactly. And you know, like Dia, I'm going to use that as an example. You know, I mean, I could probably have said any number of things before I even knew Dia to her that would have been hurtful. And I'd have never, ever known her situation. But luckily, we became friends, and I know her situation. But just think, if I'd have done that, and then nothing had ever been said after that, and something happened, I could never take that back. I can't take that back. Once the spoken word's like an arrow, once it's shot, you can't retrieve it. It's gone. Now, what I've told my daughter, I've tried to teach them when they were little, and even today, and it was something that Mama Chelly always tried to instill in us is, you know, never apologize for what you say, because you wouldn't have said it if you didn't mean it because it was on your mind. And I've never apologized for anything I've ever said. But she says, apologize for how you said it. Because you can say something to somebody and not really apologize for it, but it depends on how you say it, because you can say it one of two ways, to either be hurtful or not be hurtful. And 9 times out of 10, guys, I don't know about you, but when I say stuff, it's usually hurtful. I mean, because that's just the nature and that's how we are. So that's another good rule with the talk the talk and walk the walk, you know. Just remember, whatever you say, that arrow's gone, man. You're not going to get it back. Don't ever apologize for what you said, because you know down deep in your heart you meant it when you said it. But be sorry for how you said it. I mean, that's what Mama Chelly always used to tell us. Angie says, there will be those that despise Christians anyway. A verse says, their fragrance is sweet to some and bitter to those that are dying. That's true. That's very true, Angie. Dia says, and when God takes them, I will be sad, but I will understand. It's their time to go. And if they go before, I try to treasure the small moments now. Exactly. That's all you can do. And be thankful, you know, that you've got them. Okay, just to get one thing right, if you preach about God's love and forgiveness and all that good stuff, don't be the first one to throw a stone. We know who you are. Hey, you know what? That's good because that's in the Bible too. I mean, you know, the Pharisees tried to trick Jesus into saying something that they could have busted him for when he brought, was it Mary Magdalene? Or they brought the prostitute to him and said, she has done this and that. And it was probably one of them that did, you know, that they did the nasty with. Or it could have been any of the guys, the men that were standing in that crowd. And what I find is interesting is he was writing in the ground. And the thing is if anybody knows the way that the temple area was, it was all stone. So in that section of the Bible, I got two messages out of it. When he was writing in the stone, or writing like he was writing in stone, which he did when he gave Moses the law. So that's twice. And that's how I interpret it. But then for him to say, let him who's without sin cast the first stone. None of them could. And that's exactly what Barb is saying. Can't throw any more rocks, guys. Can't throw rocks like what's the saying? Can't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. Can't do it, you know. That was a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Hello, Kelly. I'm getting down in the chat. I'm trying to get down, see if there's any more questions. No, Hedwig, I am not gifted. I've just been given another chance at life. I've been given another chance to make up for all the rotten, nasty, crappy stuff I've done to people. And he gave me another chance. And it's not me. It's not me doing it. Like I said, I asked him to give me the words. You're welcome, Autumn Grace. Grumpy. And if you apologize, don't copy and paste. Laugh out loud. Funny. Dave, you're right. Yeah, that sounds like something Nana would say. Hashtag, speak the truth. Exactly. Exactly. Yep, Nana. That's Mama Chelly is his Nana. Like she's Lily's Nana, like I'm Nano. Let me see what else we got going here. Oh, you were just compliment. Okay, well, that's okay, Kathleen. That's cool. I appreciate that. Vicky Porter, I know that I have RA. Is that rheumatoid arthritis? For a reason, since my age of 23. And I will be 57 in a couple days. And I don't question why. I don't need to know the reason, like blind faith. Exactly. And maybe through your experience will help others. That's probably that is probably what it's about. I've been rotten and mean, and the only thing good in me is Jesus. Thanking him for saving me, a wretch like me. Yes, Angie. Vicky Porter, none of us is guaranteed a tomorrow. I have diseases that cause chronic pain every day of my life, and I may live to be 100. And the next person may be healthy as a horse and die in a car accident. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's, you know, oh, and no, that's true. And then I just noticed, I saw somebody type Ashley, life with ankylosing spondylitis. That's Ashley. Guys, I'm going to be wrapping this up here. If you want to talk about a person that is in constant pain and then has a spirit that just, I feed off of it. And I think, like, I don't believe in no coincidence. I think I was supposed to, you know, check her out, check out her videos, and be a part of it. That's Ashley. She's got it bad every day, man, and single mom, and she's got challenges in her health, and she's rough. But you know what, man? Girl always got a smile on her face. She's always blessing other people, always loving on other people. I don't ever hear her complain. I hear her complain probably about the doctors, not let's get on the ball and find out what's going on with her foot. But other than that, that's another good example. That's somebody else. If you ever need an energy boost, if you ever need a reason to be smiling, and you want that punch in the arm to get you going, go watch Ashley. Go watch her channel, because she'll have you laughing, she'll have you smiling, she'll just have be and I love her, and that's why I support her. My text's not going through. I don't know, Debs. I'm seeing you. What are you talking about? Oh, hugs and to you too, Kathleen. We'll see you over at Dwayne's, and that's a good reminder. So one more time, MSP is at 7. There's the link. Make sure you guys get over there. Make sure you guys get over there. Like I said, support Dwayne and Heather, and buy up all of Barb and Dia stuff. I will be bidding tonight. Probably not going to win anything, because nobody ever lets me win. But I digress. We never know what happens, right? But get on over there, you guys. Have a great time. I want to cut you all loose, but I do want to say this is going to be going on a reload. If any of you found this interesting, and you think, if you like it, leave a comment down below after it reloads. If you want to leave a comment, or you need to ask for a prayer, or you want to share a Bible verse, whatever you want to do, you put it down in the comments. Share this video after it reloads. If you think there's somebody that may find this interesting to hear. And I'm going to do my blessing, but you know what? It's Easter, and I want to thank God for giving us his son, and for Jesus being able to talk the talk and walk the walk, to die on a cross for me, for you, and for everybody in this world, by shedding his blood. Because he shed his blood and he took all of that sickness and through his stripes and healed us through all of that. I'm going to ask the Lord to not just bless us all, to bless you, but that whatever's bugging you in your life, whatever issues you're having, that he comes there and he spends time with you, and he shows you that he's there for you, that he's always been there for you, and that he's willing to take care of you. That all you got to do is put your trust on him. And put your trust on him. That's all you got to do. And then when he's done doing that, he's going to bless you guys with great success and health, and a happy life, and great everydays. That's what's going to happen. So with that said, guys, I'm going to see you all in the next video, okay? Rollin, pick her out. Oh, and you all have a blessed Easter. And then we'll see you guys in the next video. Rollin, pick her out.